So, a lot of times when we're successful and we get things done and we are doing well in our career and we sort of rise up in the ranks or we do well in school or work, anywhere, sometimes it feels like we're an imposter and we don't belong there and we feel out of place. And then because of that, we feel really alone. We might feel kind of anxious, and that could really impact our mood and our productivity and also our relationships. So, I want to tell you some of the few common thoughts that someone who might be experiencing imposter syndrome might have. And I want you to notice if any of these thoughts are coming up for you. Because the first step in overcoming imposter syndrome is to first recognize that you're experiencing it. Because a lot of us do experience it and we feel alone. And in order to make the changes, we need to accept that we're experiencing it, and then we're able to work through it and move on so that we feel more at ease, fulfilled, and like we're living a life of purpose and full of meaning. I'm Dr. Morgan Levy, and I am a licensed psychologist in Florida, and I offer individual therapy, coaching, and group therapy. So here are some thoughts that you might have if you're experiencing imposter syndrome. One of the most common ones that I've heard is someone saying, well, I only got here because I was lucky. I sort of lucked into it. I didn't actually get here by my own merit. And that's not necessarily the truth. Most of the time people have earned it and they got there, but they're worried that it's a fluke and they won't get there in the future. Another really common one is that someone might be thinking, I'm a fake. They're going to find it out and then it's going to be so embarrassing. I'm going to be full of shame. That's a really common thought that people with imposter syndrome might be experiencing. Something else that I've also noticed is minimization. Someone might be thinking, well, anybody can do this. I'm not special. There's nothing out of the ordinary about what I did to get there. And so that thought can really make us feel down and question our abilities. A few other thoughts. Maybe that, well, failure is not an option. I had to do this. I had to do this to succeed. So it doesn't really matter because it was the only choice. All of that also undermines what it took for us to get there. And, a lot of times people experiencing imposter syndrome don't want to be exposed. And so they do whatever they can to make sure they don't fail. And, a lot of times perfectionists experience imposter syndrome. Something else that's really common is that people with imposter syndrome, they find it hard to accept compliments. And they're like, well, that person's just being really nice. They don't mean it. And I don't know if you're able to see that the common theme throughout all of this is a doubt of self-worth, low self-esteem, not being confident in yourself. And so a few of the ways to work through this imposter syndrome is, well, first recognizing it, recognizing that all of these thoughts and the thought patterns that I just listed are a result of the imposter syndrome, and they're not necessarily true. And it's important to work through and understand where the root of those issues and those thoughts came from. Like, why are we even thinking that to begin with if it's not true? Another part of it is working on increasing the self-esteem, and that could be done through so many different ways. A common way is done through therapy. And working on recognizing the reality of how you got there. So, if any of this resonates with you, or if you have any questions or any thoughts, feel free to leave a comment, or you could reach out to me through email or at my website, morganlevyphd.com, and let me know if you have any thoughts. All right, take care.